But
It's been fascinating to follow along with what's been going on over at JetBlue Airways.
In a new
Today,
partnership
we'll
with
be talking about the
JetBlue. So
implications
huge
of some
what you
very
get
good
between the
news
two
as
carriers. So
United Airlines
essentially
has
all
begun a
the
partnership with
priority,
JetBlue
the benefits between check-in,
and other
security,
major
boarding.
movements.
JFK
This
did
is
have
huge
a
news
stint
for
there for
JetBlue and
United during the,
and it's
I
certainly
think it
going
was
to be
like 2022
fascinating.
and 2023
With that being
during the
said,
pandemic. They
let's
flew
go ahead
to
and dive
Los
into the
Angeles
news,
and,
everybody.
San Francisco.
Alrighty, everybody, so we have some really interesting news here as United Airlines returns to JFK in a new partnership with JetBlue. So huge shout out to Simple Flying for covering this subject, and it was certainly very fascinating to me to see, well, what's been going on with the JetBlue movement, considering the implications and so forth, and what's been going on as of late. So I hope all of you are excited to check this out. We actually had two of them right next to each other right there. So that said, let's go ahead and take a look, everybody. So United Airlines has confirmed a long rumored collaboration with JetBlue and its return to New York John F. Kennedy Airport. The two airlines have announced a partnership that is similar but also a bit different from the Northeast Alliance that was formed between American Airlines and JetBlue, and that was dating back to pandemic times, and it was certainly interesting to see how that went about. So if you all don't know, United doesn't fly JFK right now, so that's going to be a huge part of this discussion. So the partnership is called Blue Sky, which will focus on New York, with JetBlue diversifying slots at New York JFK to United Airlines. In return, JetBlue will receive flight timings at New York Liberty Airport, EWR. So this is very helpful on both sides to expand market share at both the major stations there for those two airlines respectively. So it's going to be essentially the Northeast Alliance 2.0, which is the Blue Sky. Here's a really nice graph here from United, and it talks about what you get between the two carriers. So essentially all the the benefits between check-in, security, boarding, all that pretty much translates over, as you can see. So mileage plus on JetBlue is pretty valuable there, as you can tell, and TrueBlue and United is very valuable on TrueBlue is very valuable on United, so you can definitely see you can get preferred seats at check-in, and on all of these you get priority bags, which is great, along with the security and check-in. Most of these also have very good boarding groups, and also the extra legroom seats at check-in, and then the same-day standby flight changes also there as well. So all the benefits that one could want are certainly present on that graph, as you can see right there. As we continue to scroll down, this was on May 29th when JetBlue United announced that their partnership, it went a little far there, and these includes earning miles and using miles on flights, but it's not technically a co-share, which is a major difference because it was the Northeast Alliance for American JetBlue was a co-share. So this is technically not a co-share, but JetBlue will be providing slots at JFK to United Airlines, and United will be providing JetBlue with flight timings at Newark as part of a neutral net exchange, or a net neutral exchange, which is pretty interesting. I'm not exactly sure what that terminology means, but it's certainly a very interesting trade-off there, and I think it's going to really help out both sides. So this is from Gregory, the chief executive officer of JetBlue, said that the collaboration with United Airlines is a bold step for the industry, bringing two customer-focused airlines to deliver more choices for travelers. United's global reach complements JetBlue's leisure-focused East Coast network and significantly expands benefits for TrueBlue members, Gregory added. Scott Kirby, the CEO of United, stated that Blue Sky reflects the pair's focus on innovation and customer experience. When it then says, the JetBlue brand is tied to a great product, and under John's leadership, the airline continues to deliver for customers. We're always looking for ways to give our Mileage Plus members even more value and benefits, and this collaboration gives them new, unique ways to use their hard-earned miles and find options that fit their schedule, which I think it is really cool. And there is a really good point in the fact that, the New York, JFK, and Boston markets, obviously not nearly as diverse as what JetBlue has, especially Boston. I think this will really work out well for anybody Mileage Plus in that region. And let's not forget about Orlando and also Fort Lauderdale as well. These are markets that United does have share to, but not nearly as much. I know United probably really wants to get in on some of that market share, so I think this is a really good opportunity. So with the independent pricing and networks portion of this, the NEA included a co-share agreement with the Department of Justice, DOJ, later successfully suing the alliance. That's just for the Northeast Alliance that they had with American, and they argued that American JetBlue essentially stopped competing in Boston and New York. However, Blue Sky will not entail the this is going to be corporative management of the two carriers' pricing and networks. However, quote, both airlines may extend their terms of parts to their corporate programs to the flights operated by the other airlines. So that's certainly a major, you can definitely tell this is a much different vibe compared to what JetBlue and American did previously. As part of the partnership, JetBlue will give United Airlines slots for up to 7 daily round-trip flights on New York JFK, while United Airlines will provide JetBlue with 8 flight timings at New York Liberty International. United Airlines said should begin flights from JFK as soon as 2027, which I thought was going to be way sooner than that. That's pretty interesting. It said. And then Simple Flying also did make a video on this subject as well. If you don't remember, JFK did have a stint there for United during I think it was like 2022 and 2023 during the pandemic. They flew to Los Angeles and San Francisco. Apologies about I guess I zoomed it in too far or whatever. It's just taking up a bunch of RAM to load it, so I apologize. But anyway, after NEA was dismantled, JetBlue's secretary said that the airline was talking to potential partners. During the airline's Q4 2024 earnings call on January 28th, the CEO stated that JetBlue was talking with several airlines to discuss potential partnerships, noting that the airline had nothing announced at the time. And I'm interested to see if this is going to be the bottom. No, yeah, okay. Now we have the technical collaboration. There's a cool Boston Bruins JetBlue A320 right there. Apologize about how slow it's been today, everyone. I'm going to get this fixed. I'm going to restart my computer after this video. But anyway, since the rumors that have swirled around with JetBlue and United Airlines could form some sort of partnership, or that the latter could acquire the former, the merger rumors were even denied by United Airlines, which on January 31st filed a document with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, saying that while it was aware of the gossip involving its potential involvement in a strategic acquisition of another airline, it was, quote, not in negotiations or discussions with any other airlines, which is certainly pretty interesting to see there. Now, as we continue to scroll here, that is, I think we have at least one more line, shouldn't we? Let's see. Sorry, that's being a little slow. Yeah, here we go. Nevertheless, I believe that's the next line. I just want to make sure. I should have just kept it zoomed out, everybody. I'm so sorry that's being so slow today. I will get this fixed, but it's taken like 3 gigabytes of RAM to run this, which is ridiculous for a Simple Flying article. I must have some sort of like ad video playing or whatever else. So let it load here. But yeah, this is certainly very interesting. There we go. Yeah, it just can't be zoomed in. Okay. Well, at least I know what I'm doing now. Nevertheless, in addition to the interline agreement and slot and a flight timing swap in New York, the two airlines will also utilize each other's technology solutions. For instance, United Airlines will move its United Hotels, United Cars, United Cruises, and United Package offerings onto a platform developed by JetBlue's Pasley, I think that's how you say it, or Pasley. Meanwhile, JetBlue should become the first partner airline to develop the consecutive media solution developed by United Airlines. This connects passengers with personalized and real-time advertisement content and experience and offers onboard aircraft and at various touch points when flying the airline. So I certainly think that this partnership is very fascinating. It's really interesting to see a company as maintained and successful as United even tapping into an airline like JetBlue that is really struggling for cash flow. So it's certainly interesting, but I think that for JetBlue, this is really huge news. I don't think this is the end of the world for United, especially with how lenient it is. I think that they can get out of it at any time that they want, but I think that this should help their Mileage Plus members and should be in pretty good pairing, especially to get those premium, very valued JFK slots. Meanwhile, obviously at Newark, for example, there's obviously JetBlue doesn't have much of a presence there right now. So I think that them tapping into that market works at this point. It can't hurt to branch it out a little bit. And, anytime you can get with a sustained carrier, I certainly think that there's a bunch to like about that. You got to be very mindful of those opportunities. And I think that's exactly what JetBlue's doing, is just exploring all options. And I think this is their best option. United's one of the most maintained carriers. And I don't think Delta would have did this. So, American Southwest are off the rails, and obviously Spirit and Frontier have not worked with JetBlue. So that leads us to where we are now. I'm very eager to see what happens next. I think this should work pretty well, and I'm eager to see what the details of this are going to look like, and also, how this will be, crossover for the two airlines. So this is certainly interesting, but I think this is overall a really great move for JetBlue, possibly a airline saving move if it's sustained over time, which they definitely need. And for United, I don't think this is the end of the world, but I also recommend all of you to keep your eyes out, because who knows the implications and how long this will possibly last, especially depending on what JetBlue does in the next year or so. So it's going to be interesting, and I hope all of you are excited to follow along, but I really hope all of you enjoyed the analysis today. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But nevertheless, that'll do for today's video, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. Take it easy, everybody. Stay safe. This process. Do you love and love you do. My name's CM Aviation. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon as CM Aviation is signing off.